So the United States media, they're saying that Ford's EV deliveries in the second quarter of this year were really good. I mean, look at Ford's electric car sales. They're doing really well. Well, are they? Here are the numbers. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Ford's EV sales. It's true, were up versus the second quarter of last year. So the second quarter of this year, 18% increase. I mean, it's not nothing, right? Ford delivered 166,450 new vehicles in June, which is actually down 6% year over year. But the second quarter was still not bad. 536,000 deliveries in total, which was up 0.8% versus last year. That said, the year-to-date also is up as well by 3%. It's 1,044,000 in total. But here's the thing. Ford's EV sales are still a very small percentage of their overall sales. And basically Ford's CEO, Jim Farley, has come out and said within the last few days in the media, Ford, if they can't sell an EV and make a profit, then at a low price, then the company it's basically finished. Ford is saying that they are going to be, they're going to be selling EVs for $30,000, making a profit on those EVs within about a year and a half. I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, currently Ford is still losing. They're still losing. We don't know exactly what they lost this quarter, but I mean, they're still losing on average about $30,000 on every EV they sell. So I don't know how that's going to work, but maybe it will. Who knows? Last month, Ford delivered 7,000 electric cars. That's 18% more than a year ago. But Ford did say that their sales this year should be double what they were last year. So not quite what Ford had planned. Anyhow, what that means is that EVs make up 4.4% of all of Ford's sales in North America, 4.4%. That is an improvement versus 3.5% a year ago. But to me, it sounds a little bit like, Nokia saying, oh, you know what, 4.4% of our phones were smartphones. The other 95.6% were those ones with like a BlackBerry with all the buttons all over them. That's what it sounds like to me. And if I was an investor, I wouldn't be all that confident hearing that news. In June, Mustang Mach-E sales, 3,500. That is 15% less than June of 2023. Ford F-150 Lightning, though, grew by 79% to 2,552 deliveries, which is surprising. I mean, clearly Tesla delivered more Cybertrucks than Ford did F-150 Lightnings. That to me, I mean, Ford have had a lot of time to ramp up production of the F-150 Lightning. Anyhow, let's move on. Ford E-Transit, 152% increase to 923. So, deliveries in total for each model. Mach-E, 3,500, down 15%. F-150 Lightning, 2,550, up 80%. E-Transit, 923, up 152%. Guys, the E-Transit has significantly improved. The version that Ford was selling previously last year, range was minuscule. The range was just absolutely terrible. But still, the E-Transit range is still not very good. It's less than 200 miles. When that is good, and it should be, I mean, if they were using some proper good batteries in that car, they could get easily 300 miles range out of an E-Transit. I mean, put it this way, guys, Zeekr 009, right? It's a similar size to a Zeekr, and they're getting literally 450 miles out of that car. So I don't understand why the E-Transit has such poor range. I mean, that said, it's the only real high-selling EV van in America. Imagine if Americans could buy EV vans that were actually good. I reckon they'd be so popular. In total, that means Ford sold about 7,000 electric cars, which was growth of 18%. Now, looking at Ford's deliveries for the second quarter, Ford sold about 24,000 EVs. That's 61% more than a year ago. So that's a good number. However, that was not a record for Ford. If Ford sold 2,000 more cars, they could have gotten a record. This is the crazy thing about this whole news, guys. In the second quarter of 2023, Ford's EV deliveries were actually 2.9%. So considering Ford's now hit about 4.5%, that's not terrible. If they went from 4.5% to 9% next year, and then from 9 to 18%, then 18 to 36, I mean, maybe that wouldn't be too bad. If that's possible though, that could be challenging for Ford. So this second quarter, deliveries of the Mustang Mach-E, 12,646, meaning, Ford's selling just over 3,000 per month of the Mach-E. That's up 46%. F-150 Lightning, 7,902. That's up 77%. E-Transit, 3,410, up 96%. That means in total, the total number up 61% to 23,957 cars, or 24,000 in total, which means, yes, Ford beat General Motors in the second quarter of this year, meaning Ford is in second place in America behind Tesla. So far this year, Ford has sold 44,000 EVs. That is 72% more than a year ago. 4.4% of the brand's total volume. Like I said, though, I still think Ford are in trouble of being disrupted at the percentage, at only 4.4%. For example, guys, if Tesla was like mass producing an equivalent to an F-150 Lightning that was actually good, like, a long range F-150 Lightning called a Tesla, I don't know, Tesla Model P for pickup truck, right? And it was just a traditional pickup truck with, say, 400 miles of range. If Tesla was doing that, mass producing a vehicle like that, I think Ford would be in that disruption zone. They're lucky that Tesla aren't doing that. Mustang Mach-E, 22,234 deliveries, up 58%. Ford F-150 Lightning, 15,645, up 80%. E-Transit, 6,301, up 116%. I just can't believe those E-Transit sells so well, and it's such a really below par vehicle. Like I said, imagine if they made it good. Total 44,200 deliveries so far this year for Ford. So Ford sold 44,000 electric cars in the United States in the first 6 months of 2024. I mean, if Ford follows that up by, say, doing, let's say they increase numbers to 56,000 for the rest of the year, that would mean Ford would deliver 100,000 EVs in the United States this year. I mean, that's not terrible, but if you think about it, it's actually not a big increase, because technically if we double those numbers, 44,000 plus 44,000, 88,000, well, last year Ford sold 72,000 EVs in America. So actually Ford are only on track to beat that number by 16,000, a pretty small percentage. I really think Ford need to ramp up EV production very, very quickly. They need to take it a bit more seriously than they are. Otherwise, like I said, disruption is very, very possible. Who's that going to come from, though? Who will disrupt Ford? Well, I've got some good ideas on that. In the pickup truck segment, yeah. I mean, Ford might not see a lot of disruption there, but they might end up becoming a pickup truck only brand. That is a problem when your sales in China have been utterly decimated. Now, China has been for many years Ford's second biggest car market worldwide, and that is going to the toilet. So Ford needs to make up those sales somewhere else, but they're not. Their sales numbers in the US are about even versus last year. Now, if this were Tesla, the media would not be saying these numbers are fantastic. They'd be saying, Tesla, you're getting annihilated in China. So that's worth pointing out. It's not all roses for the Ford Motor Company. Thanks for watching.